This is all I know. Something happens on a live TikTok where you become scammed or potentially scammed. This is all the context that I get from Aaron 2 days ago. I'm sitting on this information and I'm trying to process what the heck could have happened. I want to know play by play what happened to you. For those of you also watching, Aaron, his storytelling is incredible. We'll drop links in the comment sections, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Crazy following, fantastic stories. Shout out to the staff.
Shout out to the staff.
Shout out to the staff. But so you go live. This is your first time going live. Can you just kind of give us a teaser and then go into this?
Yeah, basically what you said, I said something went down on TikTok today and I almost got, well, it was not only in trouble, got caught in a situation and potentially scammed. Now, first of all, what makes this so funny, first of all, is you just talked about the storytelling thing. This is all because of some of the growth I've seen in the storytelling space. You know this, on YouTube, YouTube Shorts. I've built those little short stories, 7-minute stories, my podcast. Audience is growing. Could not be more grateful. And as that happens, and anybody who has a business or is growing something creatively, you know this, when you start to expand, there's new opportunities. Now, listen, I grew up in the 90s. Anthony, you know this, we didn't have social media. We're not old. People might say we're old, but we're not old. We just didn't grow up with it. So even though I use it and have had success sharing my stories on it, I don't really know much about social media as a phenomenon, as a mechanism, strategically what to do. I just know that there's a wide audience there. And I figured I will just test, just like I did with YouTube Shorts. Let's just test it. And I had friends like you, smart people go, hey, why don't you try it out? Why don't you do a little video on YouTube Shorts? Why don't you try this? Well, this whole TikTok thing started because someone said, hey, if you're having people watch it on YouTube Shorts, just use the same videos and put them on TikTok. So I do. Shout out to the staff. So I do. I get, several thousand views, and I have one that hits over, it's close to 500,000 views. And I'm like, okay, cool. There's an audience there. Start building. I get past 1,000 followers. And when you get past 1,000 followers, TikTok allows you to go live. So I'm like, okay, what's the next step in this journey? And as you know, I'm experimenting with some live storytelling on Instagram, on YouTube, and now on TikTok. So my first time I went live, my only thought was, let me try to go on here and tell a story or do some live storytelling. Who knows what's going to happen? 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Anthony, you're going to believe this. 3 o'clock, I hit the live button. I realized at that point, what I should have done was learn more about all the buttons on the TikTok live thing. If anyone has done this, there's all these buttons and like hearts and like rabbits and gold stars. It looks like I'm in a casino. Did I just transport to Las Vegas? Because next thing I know, I'm at a slot machine. I thought this was just a live video. So there's all these weird features, bro. There's all these weird features. I have no idea what to do. So I start hitting buttons. I see people are joining the live. Okay. And I'm going, yeah, where can I see comments here? I look like an 80-year-old guy. I can't really see anything. And then I'm like, I don't want to embarrass myself. Do I end the live? Do I just end it really quick? What do I do? So what I said was, I kind of got caught in a mess where I couldn't really see people's comments. I couldn't tell exactly like how to like respond to people, or if there was certain buttons I should be pressing. I accidentally flipped the camera around. I'm like my grandmother. It was a disaster. But so here's what I do. We're faced with these situations, Anthony. You've been there. I wanted to end the live because I was kind of embarrassed. Well, I was embarrassed. Like,
let me just, can I jump in here?
Please.
I got a couple things. First of all, I understand how you would feel in this situation. Who really actually thinks that I need to investigate how to learn how to go live? Here's the reality. You're not giving yourself enough credit. Shout out to the staff.
Shout out to the staff.
You have gone live on Instagram, I believe.
Yes, I have.
You've potentially gone live on YouTube, maybe not on Shorts, but in previous experiences.
Yes,
or you know that. Who is sitting here thinking that there's going to be complication to going live? You press a damn button.
I thought it was the same thing.
You thought it. See, we just need to give you credit where credit's due. You didn't make any mistakes here, okay? You went into the lion's den. You go in. There's all these buttons. You feel as if you're transported. Great comparison to a casino. Because when I watched one of your recent live TikToks, I also noticed, I'm like, what are all these buttons?
What are these buttons?
I don't understand. Am I sending a rabbit to somebody?
Did you see the rabbit? Why is there rabbits?
There's a pulling a rabbit out of a hat. What in the world are we doing? So you're
Yes,
here,
that's
you're in
exactly
this
how it is.
space.
I'm in this space. I'm freaking out. And I end up, to your point, because I was confused like that, I wanted to end the live video. But then I
Right.
thought at this point, there was like 70 people there. And listen, you know how it is. I'm okay with making mistakes, but when you start introducing yourself to a new audience or anybody, you want to make a good impression on people. And it's not about being fake. I just didn't want to look like an idiot. So I had a choice. Do I turn the live off and just have these people be like, well, I just lost potentially 70 podcast listeners or 75 because they're like, this guy's on here. Hey, everybody, I can't get through the live, but there's rabbits, right? There's rabbits. Or do I just open myself up and go, hey, folks, I don't know what I'm doing. So I did that. So I didn't.
The show must go on. You're a performer.
So I said to everybody, hey, I'm going to be honest with you. I might try to mess around here for the next 5 minutes and pretend like I know what I'm doing. I asked the audience for help. I said, you guys on TikTok, can you help me? Imagine like your grandpa giving you a call, trying to set up an email. Could you help me out here? I can't seem to get my AOL to work. I'm having a hard time checking my Yahoo account. Can you help me out? So here's the great thing, Anthony. People started messaging and they're like, okay, no worries, man. Amazing. They're like, flip your camera around. So now what ends up happening is I got this beautiful thing happening. I got friends walking me through the process. Friends, new people are entering the live room. And because people are commenting, more and more people are coming. And I got over 100 people.
Right.
And they're coming in, hey, this guy.
It's awesome.
So then I start talking to him and I said, you know what? I'm thinking about this. I originally started this live, and I didn't say this before, but I originally started this live doing like ask a professional storyteller anything. Like, hey, being a professional storyteller is weird, but ask me anything. But then I realized I don't think anybody really wanted to do that. It's not like a workshop, or I'm not at a hotel giving doing a talk at a conference or working with, corporations or businesses. This is just people hanging out on TikTok. I thought to myself, well, don't be an idiot. Why don't you just tell stories? And so I said to the audience, hey, do you want me to go ahead and start just telling stories live moving forward? I know I screwed up this live. And people were like, yeah, sounds good. Next thing I know, I get a request.
Here it comes.
I shot it to the staff.
Shout out to the staff.
I got a video request that comes in. I don't know who this person is. I'm going to call him Eddie. Okay. I do know his name. I'm not going to say it. Eddie wants to join your video. I'm thinking, oh, Eddie, cool. Eddie's going to join and we're going to have a conversation. It's Larry King Live. Eddie, you're on the air. Like, I thought this was it. So I go ahead and press accept.
No.
Yeah. Next thing I know, the screen changes and I'm in what appears to be an arcade game. Eddie is on one side, I'm on the other, and it says it's a battle. I said, hey, Eddie, what's going on? He's like, hey, brother, how you doing, man? This is Eddie from Mississippi. I said, what's up, Eddie? How did I end up here? I said, did I hit the wrong button? He's like, oh, I don't know, man. You just like accidentally hit this button. And he's explaining what this is. Apparently there's these like battles of wits that you can do on TikTok, and they rate you, like the viewers, like from their viewers, and they rate you. And you're supposed to, like, I don't know, have like a debate or conversation. And I said, Eddie, are you challenging me? Is this a competition? I didn't know if I was in a competition. He's like, no, man, we don't really have to battle. It's just as a way to introduce our audiences. I'm like, okay, cool. And he goes, and I also saw, brother, he goes, I also saw that you were struggling a little bit. And he's like, listen, man, he's like, I'm a newbie to TikTok myself, and I totally understand what you're going through. So now I got a friend. So now Eddie is walking me through how to adjust my screen, how to answer comments correctly. He's saying, yeah, if you want to, you can open up a donate feature where people can hit like a little cash button. I'm like, oh, I didn't really think about that, Eddie, but I think it's a great idea. He's like, yeah, brother. I said, Eddie, while I have you, why don't we have a conversation? I'll interview you. And I said, because we're live, I said, this went as a disaster anyways. But I said, sometimes in life, you have these serendipitous moments. He's like, I'm going to tell you, man, serendipitous. Let me say, he's like, here's one thing that I was proved wrong about, Eddie says. Eddie, by the way, he's very charismatic, this guy.
Okay.
This guy, if he started a church, I'm joining. Anthony, if he comes in pitching Scientology, I'm auditing myself in the next 2 hours. That's how charismatic this guy is. He was really nice. And he was like, hey, man, he goes, listen, I'm a newbie on TikTok. He's like, what I've realized, Aaron, is that there are more good people than bad in this world. He's like, and I came in just like you, very suspicious of TikTok, very nervous about TikTok. He goes, this community, man, they've done nothing but support me and show me love. I said, Eddie, I can't not only agree with you, I said, I think you're spot on because look what you're doing for me. Look what we're going through together.
Paying it forward, Eddie.
You're paying it forward. And he goes, yeah, brother. He goes, I'm going to be honest with you. He goes, Aaron, if you don't mind, he's like, I'd like to tell you a little story about myself. I said,
we're live. We're just,
sorry,
we're live. We're all
live.
okay. We're still live. This is all happening. You have 100 plus followers watching this interaction.
So Eddie goes, Aaron, and he goes, I'm going to tell you something, man. He goes, I've been sober for 1 year now. Now listen,
okay,
Anthony.
It's deep.
By the way, yeah, Eddie, where are we going here? But let me tell you something. Like Anthony, I have friends. I know you have friends who deal with alcoholism, addiction, substance abuse. It is no joke.
It's no joke.
I won't go into details about my dad and stuff, but like in the profession, in the justice profession, my dad has worked really hard and taught me a lot about addiction as a disease, as a way that that there is a path to sobriety. And I have empathy that this is a disease that people are dealing with, that it shouldn't be criminalized. I don't want to get into the politics of it, but I'm saying, like, my point is, when Eddie said this, I wasn't like freaked out. I was like, hey, Eddie, first of all, congratulations. You're stepping forward into a new life. I'm proud of you. And he said, man, I appreciate that. I said, Eddie, what you're doing right now, I said, you're on your path. He goes, man, it wasn't always easy. I said, I can't relate, but I know what it's like to struggle. And if whatever my struggle is has something to do with your struggle, we can connect there. And I commend you for taking this step in the right direction. He goes, 1 year. He goes, not only am I taking the step in the right direction, man. He goes, I'm helping other people become sober, clean. And he's telling me a story. He's like, just the other day, I helped this young lady. She was addicted to heroin. He's like, we helped her out. And we were able to get her here and there. And I said, Eddie, like, I can't believe this is happening live on TikTok. My heart's open and I appreciate you. And I asked him a question. Do you think storytelling has a lot to do with how you're able to inspire others? Because I'm doing the whole storytelling thing. I'm trying to now match the theme with my audience. Because why am I now talking? What am I like?
You're improving.
I'm improving
at a high level here.
And I'm not really qualified to have this type of conversation at this point, right? Because like I'm with you, I'm praying for you, happy for you. But I'm just letting this guy tell a story. I'm letting it unfold. And he's telling me this beautiful thing. He goes, yeah, man. He goes, that's been my mission. He's like, it's been a very challenging, but beautiful year. He goes, but every day we encounter challenges. I said, yes, we do. He goes, in fact, Aaron, if you don't mind me telling you, I just encountered a very difficult challenge just a couple of hours ago. I said, really?
Okay. Interesting.
He goes, I was fired from my job. So at this point, first of all, again,
how did we get here?
I'm not. All this is happening on what appears to be an arcade game in some basement in Las Vegas on the screen. So like this is the most surreal thing that's ever happening. And by the way, every 5 minutes, the game restarts and declares me or Eddie a winner. So it's like winner, loser, coins, rabbits. What the is happening?
Eddie, let's get out of 1995 Super Mario Brothers, okay? And let's go into a platform here. Let's exit the arcade game. We're apparently now having serious conversations.
Serious conversations.
Back to you.
Meaningful conversations. Yeah. And I kept thinking, to your point, Anthony, I'm like, how can I realized that this was meaningful, but I realized at this point, he's starting to divulge things that are so personal that I'm willing to keep talking to you, Eddie, but we need to get off of the live platform. So I'm looking for an out. How do I get out of here?
Where's the off ramp?
So I'm driving. I'm looking for the exit. I can't find one. Next exit, 50 miles. Okay. So I know I got a little bit of a distance, but I see the exit in the future. I'm trying to get there, but I'm also trying to be kind to this guy who's opening up to me. So he goes, he's talking about all these people he's helping. He's talking about all this stuff. There are followers in his feed. I see them putting comments. Hey, you guys should do a show together. Anthony, they're trying to take your spot. What's happening?
First of all, Eddie, I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to shoot you down.
So we're going forward with this conversation. I'm looking for the exit ramp, and he goes, I lost my job today. I said, I'm so sorry to hear that, man. He goes, yeah, actually. So he goes, my boss, I was talking about my journey to sobriety. My boss found a record that I'm a convicted felon.
Here we go.
He's like, I've been on release for about a year. As like I told you, I'm clean sober for a year. And I said, hey man, listen. And same thing. I said, I understand that. He goes, it's not fair. He goes, it's not fair. You know, convicted felons deserve a chance to redeem themselves. I said, I couldn't agree more with you, brother. I said, you do your time, you come back into society. We got to get you integrated. But I can understand how hard it is to try to rebuild your life when you
Right.
can't get a job. It's like a never-ending cycle, right? Because you want people to
Right.
rebuild their lives. They've paid for their crime, yes, but how do we get them to be productive members of society again if then I understand that they're blocked from a lot of opportunities? So I have empathy for this. I don't really have a stance, but I have empathy for what that must be like if you're honestly trying to get your life together. So I'm like, Eddie, I'm with you 100%. He goes, yeah, man, you fired me on the spot. He goes, but you know, shit happens, man. He's like, and that's not going to stop me. And I'm going to keep pushing forward. He goes, in fact, I mentioned one girl. He's like, I got another girl that we're trying to help out. And we're $100 short. Yeah. Listen, what I've realized, this is all live. This is all live. What I realized in this moment, this whole thing was a ruse. I was hustled from the get. Now, he may or may not be clean sober, whatever, but the whole point is the whole thing. And I knew it was a hustle because at the when he said it, he looked at me like, it's $100 short.
In the
And
arcade game,
arcade's going,
you're a winner, you're a loser. Ding, ding, ding. Rabbits are flying. He's asking for money.
and here's the thing. I just met you today, Eddie. It's not that I don't want to help out, but now I realize what this whole thing was. By the way, shout out to the staff, Eddie.
Let's hear. Yeah.
You are one of the greatest salespeople I've ever met in my life. He had me, I'm a fish. I went for the worm. I got a hook. This guy, imagine the skill of this guy. Find some newbie on TikTok, somehow sends me a request, takes me on a journey of redemption, of recovery.
On your own live stream.
On my own live stream. I'm
on
in
your own live stream.
And I accepted the request. That's my problem. Bad on me. I'm thinking Eddie wants to talk storytelling. Next thing I know, we're going to a 12-step meeting together. By the way, God bless you if you are. I didn't know how I got here. I'm just trying to respect your journey. I'm trying to help you out. What am I supposed to do? Cut the guy off? He says I'm recovering. Oh, sorry. Click. Anthony, I had empathy. I had love. I opened myself up. I have a conversation. Next thing I know. And you know what's funny about this whole thing? Eddie was like, hey, man, there's so many good people on TikTok. Eddie, why did you have to do this? Because now at the end, now you're hustling me for $100. Hey, listen, even if you message me privately, hey, I'm struggling. That's one thing. We're live. He's pushing. And I realized this was one of the greatest ruses I've ever seen in my life. And here's the ending to the story.
Yeah, I'm dying to hear where the heck this goes. And I have a couple thoughts.
He says, I'm short $100. And all of a sudden, there's about a 10-second pause on the live stream. I can't imagine what viewers were seeing. Jeez. Where you can see in my eyes the aha moment. Wheels are turning. I had the realization, like the guy in the movie, where it's like, oh my God, it was you all along.
It was you all along.
You. It's a Scooby-Doo moment. If it wasn't for you kids, I had the moment of realization. And now I realize I'm in a hustle. I got to figure, how do I gracefully exit this? Anthony, I can only think of one thing to do. I'm on the phone with I'm on the call. All of a sudden I go, Eddie, are you there? I said, Eddie, I can't hear you. He goes,
are you?
I said, Eddie. He goes, oh man, you there? I said, oh no. Oh no, Eddie. I said, bro, I can see. Now I start working troubleshooting. Eddie, I can hear you. I can see you, but I just can't hear you. Now, guess what? Guess who's getting hustled? The actor's coming out in me. Now I'm going, I can't hear, brother. Oh, I said, this is what timing? What timing? I said, Eddie,
I mean, unfortunate timing.
I take it to another level. I said, Eddie, why don't you try going back inside while I hold the live audience for you? see if the reception's the issue, because he stepped outside at one point. I said, it might be a reception. Sometimes you got to have a jewel for the internet. Maybe you're just outside of the bandwidth. I know that you're having time. Maybe, I don't know, they shut the cable off. There's some issues happening. Eddie, why don't you go back into the house? And he goes, I'm going back in, brother. I'm going back in. He goes back in the house. I said, Eddie, oh, shoot. I hit the end live button.
Oh, crap. He must have lost. There.
Anthony, by the way, thank God. And I know you got some questions, and I'm going to just sit back. Thank God I ended the live. Thank God they also don't record the lives. It's not like once it's done, it's done. So that experience is somewhere out in the ether. But at one point, there was 100 people that watched me get hustled by one of the most charismatic people, whether he was recovering or not. He may have been, it may have been a ruse the whole time. Now, what do I think? Now, I'm always thinking, was he really recovering? Was he really on a, or was it all a ruse? Was it? And I, by the way, all happened live, brother. I had to share that with you because when I turned that live off, I sat there for about 10 minutes, just quiet. And I said to myself, this could either stop me from doing things and going live and being hopeful in people and being, all this stuff. But you know what I did? You know this. Later that night, I learned a lesson. Eddie taught me a lesson. He taught me about what not to do. I'm not inviting anybody ever on video again. Just not going to happen. He taught me about what all the rabbits and the hearts and all that kind of stuff. He taught me how to stay out of an arcade game with a random guy in Mississippi.
There it is.
He taught me some great things. So then later that night, I did live and I had a nice session, and I know you were there as well. What an unbelievable experience for the first live I've ever had on TikTok. Guess what? Not going to stop me.
Is that no? First of all, I did not see
didn't expect
that.
Did you?
I didn't expect that. I didn't expect that. I have so many thoughts on this, and I don't want to keep us too much longer on it, but here's what I'll say.
No, yeah. Hit me with some questions. Hit me with some thoughts.
You get onto this TikTok, right? Like here's what people don't realize about you or me. We've seen a lot of life in our short 40 years. We've seen the salesman, the con artist. We've been there.
We've been there.
I'm just teasing.
I'm just teasing. You know that's an inside joke. I'm just teasing. I'm just teasing.
I know. Aaron, we might as well just run for office together. I feel that we could get some policies passed.
That's right.
Lock the doors. Here's the thing. Well, we've gone into important services that I'll say, for lack of a better phrase, and almost signed up for timeshares.
Yep.
We've got on phone calls with people who we thought were our close friends, and things take a turn. We can suss out these situations very well. And there's a GIF that's out there. That's one of my favorites. It's from Seinfeld. It's George ducking down behind his car, and it says, "Now the hunted becomes the hunter."
That's right.
And, I don't know if we're going to get this added in post, so I don't want to promise all you fans that you're going to see this in this blurb right now, but you should look it up on your GIF app. That is what reminded me of you in that situation, because here's what Eddie didn't realize. Let's just blanket statement again. If he really was going through that, prayers for that man, prayers for those people going through those addictions. It's no joke. Here's the reality.
Serious, yeah.
Here's the reality. I don't know if it was real. And Eddie didn't realize who he was trying to con. You're a smart guy. You're not gonna sink in and deal with that. And you found the off-ramp in a perfect way. It's unbelievable that someone would have the audacity to use that platform to try to take advantage of you in a live setting, put you in a situation like that in a live setting. I would almost be open to, we need to report that man to TikTok because of what he's doing. I don't know. That's up to you offline to decide on, because what he's doing, it's con work.
Can I tell you something? And that's a great point. I looked at his profile afterwards.
What'd you find?
Well, first I made the mistake of, during our conversation, I friended him.
Yeah. This might be the great, Aaron, this is the greatest salesman of our time.
Listen, you said to me, this is important for everybody to know, because people could be watching me like, oh, Anthony, you're saying this guy, Aaron, smart guy, this idiot just got hustled. Anthony, thank you for saying that. I feel like an idiot, but I'm going to tell you and everybody watching right now, you weren't there. I got to tell you, I can suss these things out. I know what it's like to get hustled on the subway. I understand. We've been through life. I've seen it. I'm not a genius, but I can tell 30 steps ahead when someone's coming at me with their hand trying to go in my pocket. I get that. This didn't see it coming. And the only reason why I say that is because of the way that he was. And the fact that it was like, at first he was helping me. It was like, yeah, it ended up being a con, but this guy, to your point, listen, shout out to the staff, shout out to Eddie. If you just use those salesman skills at something else, bro, you'd be a millionaire. He'd be this guy's so skilled at relationship building. He brings me in. He brings me into the den. He brings me a hot cup of milk. We're talking. He sets me down. He lays me, you know what I'm saying? He lays me down, just cuddles me up. The guy's giving me a nice little hug. The guy was the most warm, kind person at the end. Lulls me to sleep. It was beautiful salesman work. It really
You're drinking Kool-Aid about to go on a spaceship with this guy.
I'm about to start cutting my hair and only dressing in one color. Like, Anthony,
like, he's good. This guy, you're right. This guy, and that's why I said this, Aaron, because I knew you weren't going to say it about yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, watching Breaking It Down, to get Aaron and I like that, less than 1% chance. Somebody's got to be good. Shout out to Eddie, shout out to his staff for sure.
Shout out for those skills. I think the key thing here was like the vulnerability that I was in being live. That was the issue. I think that's why I kind of I took the bait. I got the worm because Eddie came in like he was rescuing me. I'm drowning on live. Help, help. Hey, everybody, help me. Everyone's giving me positive comments. Next thing I know, I had a life preserver. It's Eddie.
There it is.
I grabbed the life preserver. They pull me out of the water. They mug me and take my wallet.